In today's video, I am going to be breaking down JT Toppin and how he is able to play to be one of the better players in this year's NCAA. Let's get down, let's check him out and see what makes him into a potential NBA draft pick this coming year. Anyways, he's got a really good game, but make sure to go check out the shooting workout that is down in the description below if you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away. So the one thing about JT Toppin is he's able to play the low post, and he does it in a very powerful way, and he has footwork to be able to back himself up in the post as well. However, in this clip, all he is doing is just trying to power his way in, but one thing that all great players do is they take that pause and they look over their shoulder for cutters, because the low post is one of the best areas to be able to pass out of. For example, if this guy right here, if he was not looking here so that he can see the ball and man, if he was just looking this way, this guy could have cut back door. This would be an easy pass and a layup. However, this is why you want to do that. It doesn't allow double teams as frequently, and that's what we see. One dribble, two dribbles. That's personally my max. I never tell anyone to take any more than two dribbles, but he takes a third right there. As soon as he takes that third dribble, you're going to notice that this guy started to double team. That's why I always keep to two dribbles. However, JT Toppin was able to gather quick and go up with his left hand and still score. He is not just a low post player either. After this screen, we can see him pop out for that three-point shot. And that's exactly what happens. His teammate was able to gather two defenders. And because he was able to gather two defenders, that allows for that pass to go to JT Toppin. Now, could it have been better? Yes. If that was a much better pass, he would have had an even more wide open shot. However, he was still able to step in and go for that three-point shot anyways. And we can see from this clip right here that he actually has a pretty solid shooting form. Elbow, shoulder in line with the rim. This creates with the ball what I call the shooting triangle. I talk about this in a lot of videos. I should probably break down his shooting form, because if we actually look at his wrist, it's a neutral wrist. A lot of players will have an already bent wrist. However, a lot of coaches will say you shouldn't do this. This actually works for a lot of players. Just as long as it's not bent down like this, then you're generally pretty good. He's able to short roll, and he's also able to hit these floaters from the mid-range as well. I actually really like what he does here. So he catches. He's not in a great position to be able to shoot. This is actually a really hard angle to go up with on a floater. However, he takes this dribble and then he hops onto 2 feet, and that gives him a better angle, upper body angle, to be able to hit that floater. So if you need to take that extra dribble, it's sometimes a very good thing to be able to do. This extra dribble can allow you to set your feet so you can go up with this shot. I actually really like this move right here, and the reason why I like this move, after he rolls, he gets that ball at the point, he attacks. Now when he attacks, watch what he does, and we're actually going to have to really zoom in to be able to see this. So after he takes this spin, right now, technically, yes, this is a gather. Yes, technically, he's gathered on his left foot. However, is a referee actually going to be able to see this in real time? No. However, to make this a legal move at all levels, because right now it's an illegal move at all levels, this hand can't be here. It has to be on the side of the ball, not under the ball. When he makes this spin on that right foot right there, that's when he needs to gather. He gathered one step too early. This could have been and should have been called a travel. But if he was just to delay his gather that 1/2 step, he would be able to make this a legal move at all levels. He goes and does a quick high rip. This could have been a shot fake as well. He could have done a shot fake. That would have been probably a little bit better. But he does that high rip right there to clear out space. He takes that step through, and now he's able to get himself an open layup because of that step through. Now, while this was a travel 100%, if he was just to delay his gather, that's all he has to do, because he gathers on his left foot. If he was to gather and keep it in one hand with his hand on the side of the ball until he gets to his right foot, now, this is no longer a travel. At this point, he needs to shoot. However, he pivots forward and then pivots around, and that is now a travel because this was his pivot foot. But in reality, this could have been a legal move if he just delayed his gather. I've said that a million times because I really want to pound it in to all the people who are saying that everything is a travel these days. Now, I really like this move too. Now, he comes to a 2-foot jump stop. When he does that, he does a low rip because that defender's hands are above his head. So by using his head, kind of looks awkward, but by using his head and shoulders and keeping the ball low, he is going to be able to get that ball through. And now because this defender is more onto the right side of JT Toppin instead of his left, this left-hand finish is actually a preferable finish and is actually a pretty easy finish as well. However, you got to learn how to be able to go into your man, as we can see right here. And when you go into your man and you come to a 2-foot jump stop right here, if he's more onto the right side, you can do this move as long as the hands are above his head. This is also a lost arc in today's game, and I hope that JT Toppin can bring it back just a little bit. After he receives this pass right here, obviously it fumbles it just a little bit, but watch what he does. After he gets that double team, he takes a dribble towards that left side, or his left side, because he's facing this way. This would be his left. And then he spins around, goes 1-2, which technically is legal at most levels. This level, this is technically a travel because this would have been his pivot foot and he returns it. But again, no ref is going to call it. But what I was really trying to plan for is the fact that he goes up for this baby hook. And not many players are doing this baby hook anymore, and it's a basically unguardable move, because now when you take this spin, you have your body in between the ball and the defender. The defender has to go through you to be able to get to the ball. And with FIBA rules, which this is not using FIBA rules, but if you are using FIBA rules, which is the entire world except for the USA, then technically if you go for a shot, this guy cannot reach over top of you because this is your player's cylinder, which means that the referee could potentially call you for a foul even if you don't make contact with the player himself. And if you think that I'm lying, I have at least 4 refs in my local area, because I'm in Canada, who say that this, if you invade this space, it's an automatic foul. Which actually brings me to a really good point. As a coach, you should understand each referee referees the game differently. You should take notes on referees so that you don't have to argue with them, because every referee does referee games differently. And then when you see that referee again, you can say, oh, hey guys, by the way, you cannot do this and this with this ref, but you can do this, this, and that, because he allows this, this, and that, but he doesn't allow this and this. Just as an FYI, because that's what I do. Anyways, I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.